When a female centaur gives birth, she would breastfeed her baby like a woman or like a mare. Depending on the universe, centaurs often come with superhuman strength and so very well could manage it. More likely said female just bends down, lays down. The bitter question is, does a baby centaur have the same issues humans have with not being able to support their own head? Depends on the hierarchy of the foals. Strongest get lifted up to the tits and the rest would suckle upon the teats. My theory is both. When the foals are newborn, they are relatively short and can easily suckle from the horse body teats. As they get older and taller during centaur toddlerhood, their heads naturally sit around the human-like breasts and so they suckle instead from there. So it depends on their stage of development, IMO. Centaurs, like many half-species hybrids, are sterile. They cannot have children. Ever see a centaur with udders? In Xena it's implied they breastfeed like humans. A baby centaur would be more vulnerable than a fowl since its baby head would not be developed enough like humans, and so I imagine the mother would breastfeed them like a human by holding the baby in her arms. I can imagine that the baby would then grow up and be able to stand and walk pretty quickly afterwards, a few weeks, and they would become too heavy to hold, so it's possible that the little centaur would then switch to the horse way of breastfeeding. In other words, a two-stage breastfeeding. Yes. I'd assume like a mare since the baby wouldn't be tall enough to reach the woman half of the centaur. And if the mother picked it up, it would be in an awkward position to feed since the top half of the baby would be above the breasts. So the baby standing on the ground makes more sense. I guess it depends how much baby centaurs are like human babies, not very mobile, need to be supported, etc., in which case, using the human half or foals up, and about very quickly they could toddle up to the horse half to be fed. I imagine the baby would be strong enough to control its body at birth like a horse. Since they are depicted with breasts, they would likely nurse from there. Maybe they have long-backed babies to reach without being picked up. Depends purely on whether such a creature would have human breasts or teats. That would be purely up to what the writer wants. Ask Romulus and Remus. Personally, I think it's also common that they buy formula and grind their wrists shaking the bottle like the rest of us schlubs. If there is a god, both. The baby would have a human mouth and would suckle its mother's human breasts, or on the other hand one might consider a centaur an insectoid of some kind, as it has 6 legs. Start like a mare, then when the BB is taller, move to the other option. Depends on which aspect the weirdo porn artist is more into. There are so many problems with centaur anatomy. Would they be able to breathe in enough to fill horse-sized lungs through a human-sized nose and mouth?